Hello everyone. Hello to Wei, Polly, Bernard, Jonas. Okay, let me see a while. Okay, I think there's a bit of a lag. Okay. Okay, hello to everyone. So, welcome to tonight's Facebook Live session, brought to you by Heuristics. So as you know, we usually broadcast the Facebook Live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. But for this week, because of the PSLE oral exams, we have postponed it to Friday. So at least you don't have to worry about your child needing to stay up until 9 p.m. and all that. Let them get the proper rest because every mark counts. Okay? So if you haven't already, you can go to this archives and page to download the notes. It's at mathsheuristics.com/blog. Okay, that was the page that you saw earlier, where you can click over here, and then you can click on the notes and the live stream. It will direct you directly back to this broadcast. Okay? So a bit about myself. I'm the curriculum specialist here at Heuristics. Been working here since 2011, and I think there's many more years for me to be here. And every day I'm learning more and more new things. Especially right now, about how to reach out to more students and to teach them and share all these various methods that parents themselves may not be familiar with. Because we grew up at a time where we were using hardcore algebra equations, correct? So I'm learning quite a lot of new things about the whole technology revolution. And I like to use this platform to showcase it. So a bit about the Mastering Heuristics series. These are the books that has been written by my boss and my mentor, Mr. Sunny Tan. So these books were published. The first one was on the unit transfer method. The first edition was published back in 2008, and then the second edition onwards was republished in 2009. Okay, so most of the ideas comes from here, but for the guess and check and heuristics, that is something that we haven't published yet. Okay, so with all these books, we have managed to come up with web videos to explain the examples and the mobile apps as another alternative to teach students who may be more interested in an interactive manner of learning. Okay? So today I'll be talking about guess and check versus assumption. So there's only 3 questions, I know that. But it's not so much about the number of questions. Today I'll be going quite deep into this discussion. So the things I'd like to cover is this. Is guess and check a waste of time? And assumption is just a faster and superior method. Is this absolutely the case? So that's the first thing I want to cover. The second thing I want to say is that the guess and check can actually be solved in 3 attempts. it's not a pure random guess and check. It is to make a guess and to look for a pattern and to solve it within 3 steps. Okay, it's not a pure random guessing. That one will require a bit of number sense, okay, and a bit of luck. So for assumption is actually effective in certain questions where the setup is rather straightforward. But when the question becomes more challenging, that's where you have to really understand what's going on in order to apply it. Okay, and what I want to say is this, that if you ignore the guess and check and purely focus on assumption, this is going to be counterproductive for your child when those tweaked questions arise. Okay, hello to 𝗨𝘗𝘁𝗵. Hello to 𝗵𝗨𝘆𝘀𝗵. Okay, so let's begin on this. So the first question, I'll cover this in 2 ways. The first is by guess and check, the 3-step guess and check, and the second is by assumption. So you can see that an adult entry ticket to a zoo costs $8 and a child entry ticket costs $3.50. Over here, they are describing the values of the items. Okay, then on a particular weekend, there were 450 visitors and the total amount of money collected was $2,425.50. Okay, and there were a total of 450 visitors. So this is your total number of visitors. Total value would be this amount over here. So the question that I usually ask students is, when you see a problem like this, what would you do? Then they would tell me that they want to either use guess and check or they want to use supposition. Then I ask them, how do they know when to use this? Then children's response is always very cute. They will just tell me, because it looks like a guess and check question. Okay, so but for students, they are really quite intelligent. They are able to spot certain patterns and certain similarities. So what is that similarity over here that makes them think that this is a guess and check question? The answer is that you are only given the total number of visitors. Okay, when not enough information is given, generally speaking, this is when you want to use either systematic listing or guess and check. Okay, this is the general guideline. Okay, it's not absolute. So you only know the total number of visitors, but you do not know how they are related. Is it that you have 25 more children than adults? Is it that you have 3 times as many children as adults? That part you do not know. So that's when you want to use a guess and check or supposition. So let's do this by guess and check first. Okay, you got children here. Each of them pays $3.50. Then you got adults here. Each of them pays $8. Okay, there's a certain number of children, there's a certain value that they paid. Certain number of adults, a certain value that they would have paid. Okay, so over here, the total value that they have all collected is $2,425.50. Well, you're very fast, eh? Okay, give me a while first. Alright, let me just show you how this can be done by normal guessing. Okay? By normal guessing alone. The general guideline here is that you want to start off at the halfway point of 200, of 450 visitors, which means to say that you want to start off your first guess at 225 children and 225 adults. So if we have this amount, we want to compute how much the children will be paying. So if you have 225 children paying $3.50 each, they will be paying 787.50 cents. The other one is that you have 225 adults paying $8 each. So this would give you a total of 1,800. So 1,800 plus 7 is 7.5. It's going to give you 2,587.50 cents. So this is too large. This is quite far from what we actually have. We actually have only got 2,425.50. Okay, this is the normal guessing way of doing. So the important part about guess and check, especially at P3 or even P2, is to inculcate them into students some number sense reasoning. So now we want to reduce the number of children. Do we want to reduce the number of children, or do we want to increase the number of children? Then secondly, why? So you will see that after they go through some trial and error process, okay, you want to increase the number of students here so that you can bring down the total value. See, you have an excess as compared to your actual total value. So you want to decrease the total value here to match up with this amount. In order to do that, you have to increase your number of students and decrease your adults by that same number. Okay, so let's try something like 240. And if this is 240, because your total number of visitors is 450, the number of adults here is going to be 450 minus 240. So this would be 210. So once we got this already, you can see that 240 times 350 gives you $840. 210 times $8 gives you 1,680. And summing these two up, you would get a total value of $2,520. So this still doesn't meet what we require. So we have to adjust again. Then by how much? You can see that by doing this pure guessing, it is going to lead up to a lot of frustration and a lot of time being consumed. Okay, but nonetheless, at P3 and P4, it's good to expose them to this idea first. In the event that you really do not know what to do, this can be done. So, because 15 minutes has elapsed from 8 p.m., I'm just going to go straight to the answer. After many iterations, you will see that by pure guessing, you have got 261 children. And you're going to have 189 adults. Okay, after many iterations, you will arrive over here. Okay, that is provided you don't give up halfway through. So this would give you $913.50. The other one is 189 times $8. And if you add up both of these values, you will obtain $2,425.50. So how many children visited the zoos on that weekend? The answer here would then be 261. Correct? So in this case, is guess and check a waste of time? When your number of children is when your total number of visitors is rather large, I would say yes. There are more efficient ways to do this. One of them is assumption. Okay, which I will show you now. Okay, so let me just show you one of the features that we have. You can split the screen here. And you can just move down over here to compare the second way of doing. Okay, so because this is a straightforward kind of guess and check question, you can use assumption to do it. And most of the time you would get it correct if you applied all the steps correctly. Okay? Unless you misinterpret something or misread something. So now, again, you want to find the number of children who visited the zoo on the weekend. So you say that you want to suppose, why is that? Okay, I think let me type it out, okay? My handwriting on this isn't very fantastic either. Okay, so we suppose that all the 450 visitors are adults. If this is the case, how much money would they be paying in total? Then they will be paying a total of 450 times $8 to give you $3,600. Okay? So let me just type out the logic here. They will be paying a total of 450 times $8 to give you $3,600. Okay, then the next part here is how far are you from your actual total value of $2,425.50. So this is what I call the big D. It's the big difference. Okay? So let me just show it how you can visualize this. This would be 3,600 minus 2425.50. And that will give you $1,174.50. So think of it this way. You want to get to this point 2425.50, but you are very far away from it. You're like at one of the extreme ends, 3,600. So how far are you from this destination? This destination, as we've calculated, is 1174.50. Correct? Yeah, find the big D and the small d. Okay, formally it's not recognized as big D or small d, but this, I think it helps you to understand what's going on better. You find the big difference first. And in this case, now, what is the small difference then? Now, you want to adjust your numbers in a way that allows you to obtain this exact total value. So let's try and take away one adult and putting in one children first. So this is what the small d represents. You take out one adult, you put in one child instead. Okay, what will happen to your total value? First of all, $8 will be gone. $8 will be taken away. You can also write assume or suppose. They can be used interchangeably because they more or less mean the same thing. If you're good at English, feel free to correct me on that. Okay. So you take out one adult who's paying $8 and you put in a child that's paying $3.50. A difference of $4.50 is going to arise. Okay, if you don't believe me, let's try out. If you got 449 adults, 449 times 8. Let me use this one. Okay, 449 times 8 plus one child paying $3.50. This will give you 3595.50. Okay. So that is your small d of 450. So every step you take, every replacement that you make, you are changing the value by 450. So how many of those replacements must you make? It has to be big D divided by small d. This represents your number of replacements. Every step you take, you cover a distance of 450. Your total distance here is 1174.50. So you have to take 1174.50 and divide this by 450 to give you 261. Okay, so over here, what does this 261 mean? It means that you want to take out 261 adults and put in 261 children. Okay, so the answer here would be 261 children, because you started from nothing. You didn't have any children in your initial assumption. You take out 261 adults and you put in 261 children. Okay? So you have to understand what the big D divided by small d means. If you blindly memorize this, chances are you're going to get it wrong. Okay? Very good. So every one of you got it already? Okay, so that's very encouraging. So this is okay. To be honest with you, right, you don't have to write out every single one of these words over here. Okay, in your working, you probably only need like this section over here. Suppose all are adults, show this working and show your final answer or interpretation. Okay, you don't have to write out the entire logic, but I believe it would be a good way to solidify your thinking. At least you know what you're doing, you're aware of why you're doing what you're doing. Okay, metacognition is one of the important things in there. Alright, so since we have already covered assumption, okay, for this question, I would tell you that if you try to do this by assumption, you're going to get it wrong. Any brave people want to give it a go first? Any brave soul would like to try out number 2 first? Can form 2 equations, then to solve it by assumption and guess and check. Yeah, you can do that also. You can define your total number. Later I'll go into that. Shireen, later I'll go into that. Hey, any brave soul want to do number 2? Okay, why I say number 2, a lot of people are going to get it wrong. Later on, I'll explain why. Okay, but let me point out a key difference over here first. Here, you have a total of 73 spiders and chickens on a piece of land. So this refers to your total number of items. Yeah, you cannot seem to solve it no matter how you try. Yeah, I understand that. Okay, over here, look at this part carefully. The number of legs that all your chickens have is 16 more than the number of legs that all the spiders have. Okay, so here you are comparing the difference in the total value. Okay, partly because of the 16 more legs. Partly because of that. So how many more chickens are there than spiders? So a chicken has got 2 legs, by now you would know this. And a spider has got 8 legs. So the reason why I put this is because some students confuse a spider has got 6 legs. Some students get confused. Seriously speaking. Okay. So anyway, this refers to your values. Okay, you got your total number of spiders and chickens. So now let me just tabulate the information and show you how to do this by guess and check first. Every chicken has got 2 legs, every spider has got 8 legs. So okay, let's draw out this part first. Got number of chickens, number of legs, number of spiders, number of legs. Okay. Then over here, you want to write this as your difference in total legs. And take note that the order is that your chickens, all the chickens, have got more legs than all the spiders. If you defined this part wrongly, the entire question would be wrong. Okay, because subtraction over here is order specific. 2 minus 3 is not the same as 3 minus 2. Okay, so you have to take note of the order. Right, so with that out of the way, here's what I'm going to do instead. To tabulate this information in a way that helps you to see what's going on, to help you be more aware of what's going on. Of course, technically, at the end of the day, this is not necessary, but it will help most students a lot. Okay, 73 times 2 will give you 146 legs over here. Then for your spiders, if you have no spiders, you're not going to have any legs. This difference in the total legs will be 146 minus 0 to give you 146. So your first guess will definitely be wrong. If your first guess is correct, if you start from one extreme point and your guess is correct, the question you can throw away already. Okay, Shivan, for your question, let's just assume that what your teacher say is true. Okay? So now, okay, after you have got this already, the next thing you want to do is you want to make the smallest possible change. You take out one chicken and you put in one spider. So you're going to have 72 times 2, 144 legs. Or if you're able to reason out, because you're taking one chicken away, so you can take 146 minus 2 to obtain 144. The number of legs that every spider has is 8. So the difference in the total number of legs will be 144 minus 8 to give you 136. So this second guess will also definitely be wrong. Okay? So you want to obtain a difference of 16. In order to do that, here you want to spot a certain pattern. Every time you take out one chicken and you put in one spider, the difference decreases by 10. So if you keep on doing this, don't write down whatever I'm going to write in white. If you keep on doing this, eventually you will get to the point where your difference is 16. Eventually. So that is going to burn a lot of time. We want to look for a pattern instead. So the pattern here is we want this difference to be 16. So this is now what I call the big D. This is what I now call the small d. Big difference, small difference. Then the big D over here will be 146 minus 16 to give you 130. The small d in this case will be 146 minus 136 to give you 10. So if this is the case, how many replacements must you make? We must take big D and divide by small d. This will be 130 divided by 10 to give us 13. So when you know that this is 13, you need to move 13 steps down. And then you will obtain 13 spiders and you would have 60 chickens. Okay? This means that you need to move 13 steps down from this point here. Then 60 times 2 will give you 120. 13 times 8 will give you 104. You can check and see that 120 minus 104 will give you 16. Okay, so this checks out everything. All your conditions are met. We can now answer the question, how many more chickens are there than spiders? So we can take 60 and minus 30. 60 and minus 13 to give you 47. Then this will be your answer. Yeah, technically, yeah, 47. 𝗵𝗄𝗆𝘆, you got it. Yeah, you can. That will take forever. That's why we want to look for a pattern to solve it like this. Okay? Yes, this is the 3-step guess and check. Okay, the assumption method, right? Most of you, for those who try to do it by assumption, assuming you defined the problem correctly, the misconception would probably lie in the small d. The small d, you would probably be writing 8 minus 2 to give you 6. This is probably what you did. And this is a sign of pure memorization. That means you're trying to remember the steps and applying that process. But it doesn't work this way for this question because the entire situation has been tweaked. Okay? So do you want to go one more level higher? This is why I say you don't try not to memorize. Okay, memorizing as a last resort, I would think that I can understand why. Because the student want to do his best. At the same time, strive to understand whatever is going on over here first, the arguments. Then this will help you to deal with unfamiliar problems, which PSLE often likes to come out. Okay? Now over here, number 3. Let's take this one step further. Okay, Yanni used 30 packets of spice A, B, and C to cook some curry. Hang on. So now you see that you got 3 items. Each packet of spice A, B, and C weighs 25 grams, 20 grams, and 18 grams respectively. So she used the same number of packets of A and B, and the total mass of all the spices used was 576 grams. How many packets of spice A did she use? So let's take a look at what all these predicates mean. This is your total number of items. These are your values of your items. And over here you see that you have the same number of packets A and B being used. So this also describes the number of items. Then the total mass over here that is being used is 576 grams. This is your total value. Okay, so up to here you can definitely use guess and check or assumption to solve it. But you have to really understand one thing. Unless the child is exposed to the grouping idea for this in assumption, it is very unlikely that they will know what to do or what they need to do. The 3-step guess and check can be used as a safety net. Okay, so let me just type out what is just said here. If doing by assumption, you need to know the grouping concept. Then 3-step guess and check can be used as a safety net. So you come back to this guess and check issue. It is not a waste of time. It is a safety net. Not everyone is a brilliant A-star, first-class honors scholar, student, or whatever. Okay, not everyone is able to think that way. So you use whatever works for you. Do the best you can according to your ability. You understand where I'm coming from? Okay. So here I will show you how to do this for P5 and P6. Anyway, this kind of question is like, it will only come out for P5 and P6. You can use number times value to give you the total value. Okay? For P4, it is very unlikely that you will see a question with this kind of structure, unless your teacher intends to stretch you. Like, you're P4 and they want to try to pull you and give you some exposure to the P5 kind of world. Okay, so anyway, let me show you how this can be done. You got your number of packets for A, B, and C. Okay, then you have the values over here, which is actually the mass. Mass in grams. And then this is your total mass, also in grams. SG, later I will take a look at your working. There are several methods that you can use, but all of them are interconnected. So you see that for your number of packets of A and B, you got 1 unit and 1 unit because they are the same. You got the same number, both of them can be represented as 1 unit like this. Okay, let me just show you what's going on. If you use 1 bar here to represent your total number of packets, which is 30, then you have A and B over here. Each of them would have the same number, so both of them will be 1 unit. So the remaining number of packets goes to packet C, which can be represented as 1 part. Okay, it's going to be, just assume that it's going to be different from A and B for the time being. Then for the masses, they have already been given out over here. 25 grams, 20 grams, 18 grams. So if you have 25 grams, every packet is 1 unit, your total mass is going to become 25 units worth. If you have 1 unit of B, every packet has got a mass of 20 grams, you would have 20 units over here. And finally, for C, if you have 18 grams per packet, and 1 pack, this will become 18 parts. Okay, so let me just bring this down first. Yeah, okay, I need the space. So after that, when you got this ready, you can say that the number of packets over here, 2 units and 1 part, adds up to 30. Okay. Then the second thing that we can observe is that the total mass over here, 25 units, 20 units, and 18 parts, gives you 45 units and 18 parts, which gives you a total mass of 576 grams. I used math. So in order for you to find the number of packets that she used, you want to make parts the same. By multiplying this by 18. So when you do this, you end up with 2 units times 18, 36 units. 1 part times 18 gives you 18 parts. 30 times 18 gives you 540. So you can draw out these two statements and proceed to solve them. You will see that 45U, 18 parts, gives 576. Second model, 36 units and 18 parts, gives 540. So if you compare between units with units, numbers with numbers, get rid of everything that is common first. You will see that 45U minus 36 units gives you 9 units over here. And at the same time, 576, if you chop off the 540 from here, gives you 36. Then 1 unit will be 36 divided by 9 to give you 4. And then you will see that the answer here is simply going to be 4. Excuse me. Okay? Okay, generally speaking, you see, okay, so let me just summarize the various ways that you can go about to solve these types of problems. Okay, there may be more than this. The first one is by pure guessing. This one I would say is appropriate for P2 to P3. Okay, pure guessing inculcates the number sense. And also, as a last resort, you can also use this, although I wouldn't say that this is the first thing you should try and do. Second one is by assumption. This is recommended when question is still quite straightforward. you have only got 2 items and you're comparing the total value of everything. This one is more for P4 to P6. Okay? But I would really suggest you start from P5. Okay? Start from P5. Because the abstract reasoning is not that easy to tweak. Then for this is the 3-step guess and check. And it is recommended for those from P4 to P6. It can be used in multiple situations as well. Okay? For this type of comparing difference in total value and for when you have more than 2 items. Okay, and finally, we also have number times value equals to total value. This one is for P5 and P6. You can use this when you have got 3 items. Generally speaking, this format, I believe, is a lot simpler. Okay? Why 36 units? Just imagine if you have 2 units and you multiply everything by 18. Okay, I got 2 units here like this. Okay, this is my first set. If I have got 18 sets of these, how many units do I have in all? Why don't you you don't chop off, you slice it off gently. Okay? Yeah, made parts the same. Shorter methods for this the shorter way is to do all the working statements without explaining the logic. That is the shortest way I can think of. Okay? So anyway, here I've come to the end of my presentation. I hope you've learned something about it. Do not totally disregard guess and check, okay? Do not disregard it entirely. You need it as a safety net. So anyway, we are proud to announce that we are working together with Good School Education, Good School Learning Hub, on giving out trial classes. And we are conducting these classes, these primary math classes at the Kovan branch and the Tampines branch. Okay, please take note that this link is case sensitive. Okay, let me just type it out real quick because it's not that easy to type it out. Okay, if you would like. Okay, why like that? We are conducting. Shavin, yes, that can be done. That can be done. Okay. Hang on, wait, I don't know what's wrong with my internet recently. Okay, so there will be a registration form that you can leave all your details, and we will get back to you shortly after that. Okay, you're welcome, Kara. Okay, I'll see you, Lin Mum. Okay, so you're welcome. Hopefully you all did well for your oral. Whatever happens has already happened, so try not to dwell over it. Just do the best that you can according to your situation, according to your abilities. Okay? You're welcome, Shivan. Okay, you're welcome, Shareen. Miss Ria, which part do you not understand? Okay, you're welcome, Rashida. Next live stream will be next Wednesday. Okay, we in case you didn't hear the reasoning, the reason why we are holding it on Friday for this week is because of the PSLE oral exams for the P6s. Okay, we do not want to, like, how to say, because of our Facebook Live on Wednesday night, it affects your revision for that. I don't want that to happen. I want you all to give it all you got. You've been preparing 6 years for this. Now is the time to let it all out. So you still have another 40 plus days remaining. Okay, see you all soon. Why you get 36? You just imagine you have... Okay, so the question here is how you get 36 units. Or how I get 36. You take 576 minus 540. Okay. Hey, well, welcome, Melvin. Any questions you have for me, I'll be here. Okay, welcome, Mei Ping. You're welcome, Wei. Bye-bye. Okay, so if there's no further questions, then I'll see you all soon then. Good night. Bye-bye.